When we do deals, it's not, it's $1 million. Who cares? The penny means something. It's tough to be 12. You're not quite a man, but you think you are. The Apprentice has been excellent for my dad. Before, there was always that kind of corporate Napoleonic evilness to Donald Trump. Now people see him interacting with normal, barely normal individuals, and it's like, wait a second, he's a regular guy. I think politics is a dirty game. We've seen the sides that they take. We've seen the commentary they have had on my father. I have no middle wardrobe. I go from the suit to jeans. I don't know if it's genetic or just because I was surrounded by it, but I was always fascinated with building and construction and development. I think the reason we fought so hard during this campaign, whether it was my father and the work that he put into it, whether it was the rest of our family and the efforts that we put into it, and you know those efforts well, it's because we'd do anything for this country. Russians make up a pretty disproportionate cross-section of a lot of our assets. It's been a process of evolving within a family company to get the autonomy I now have from a boss like my father. If you're sitting there waiting for a pat on the back, you're going to be waiting a long time. I'm kind of a closet redneck. We've gotten to a point where you can't be a politician and actually say what you're thinking because someone's gonna get offended. And God forbid, like everyone's so sensitive now. It's ridiculous. There's nothing that I would do to ever endanger this country. I don't want my kids growing up to be city kids. I give to panhandlers on occasion, especially around the holidays, but have always been involved with charity, which was an important part of the way I was brought up. My siblings and I knew early on in life that we were incredibly fortunate and have never taken that for granted, so we recognize the importance of giving back. Look, invest in what you understand, what's foreseeably going to offer real value and returns, not necessarily what's trendy. I think Americans appreciate that my dad's a genuine guy. He's not gonna manicure every little word, and he's not massaging it. He's not running computer analytics to tell you what you want to hear and then do whatever the special interests tell him what they want him to do in the end. What makes us unique is that we actually build things. Unlike most hotel companies who just manage and have no experience building, designing, and developing a hotel, we started off on the opposite track. We started off building. We're construction guys first and foremost. My wife and I like to cook, so we actually prepare our own meals often and can hold our own in the kitchen. If there's information out there, you want it. My father's not the type of person that teaches you by saying, "Come here, son. I'm going to tell you about real estate." You learn by watching it. If you don't pick it up, it's your problem. To me, what defines a New Yorker is the edge that one develops from having actually lived here. Once you have it, it doesn't go away, and everywhere else in the world feels like it is in slow motion. What's great about my father is that because we've been involved in the business from such a young age, he's given us, and we've earned, autonomy, and he's given us the rope to go out and grow the brand. I've been able to see some very impressive people that are in politics, and I've been able to see a lot more people that are much less impressive, that I don't know if I'd want to spend my life working with. When I see sort of how the sausage is made, it's not very pretty. Rob Goldstone is a talent manager for Emin Agalarov, who's an Azerbaijani Russian singer who performed at Miss Universe and later performed at the WGC Championship golf course tournament that we held at Doral. I think, like anyone else, I made my mistakes. In our family, if you weren't competitive, you didn't eat. You had to fight for what you wanted. It wasn't a typical, let's go play catch in the backyard sort of father-son relationship. We always went to job sites with him. I've broken probably every major bone in my body. Hunting forces a person to endure, to master themselves, even to truly get to know the wild environment. Actually, along the way, hunting and fishing makes you fall in love with the natural world. This is why hunters so often give back by contributing to conservation. Anyone who thinks hunters are just bloodthirsty morons hasn't looked into hunting. If you wait through long, cold hours in the November woods with a bow in your hands, hoping a buck will show, or if you spend days walking in the African bush trailing Cape Buffalo while listening to lions roar, you're sure to learn hunting isn't about killing. I've always been the, sure, I'll try that guy. I'm very adventurous and don't have fears. I think I got that from my mother's side because she was an Olympic skier. Jump off a mountain with a parachute. Sure, what could possibly go wrong? Some people like to paint and sing. We like to create and build. If I want to hand one of my old shotguns that I've had for 50 years to my grandkid one day, I have to go through a federal transfer. It's crazy. When I spent time with my father, it wasn't playing ball in the backyard. I came to his office and listened to him do business or sat in on meetings. I walked job sites. On Saturday, we'd see my grandfather in Queens for a couple hours, and then he'd say, let's go collect rent. I'm pretty certain that I'm the only son of a billionaire who can drive a D10 Caterpillar better than I can drive a golf cart. If I could miracle myself away, I would live out west. I think I probably got a lot of my father's natural security or ego or whatever. I can be my own person and not have to live under his shadow. I definitely look up to him in many ways. I'd like to be more like him when it comes to business, but I think I'm such a different person, it's hard to even compare us. When I was growing up, and other people I knew were getting into trouble. I was somewhere in a deer stand or going to bed early so I could be up before dawn to hunt turkeys. My love of the outdoors kept me solid. Why can you get a driver's license that is recognized state to state, but a concealed weapons permit is not treated the same? There is a process to do that in a Trump administration because it makes sense. I think people are often surprised, but I never defined myself as I'm the business guy who has to supersede what my father has done. I've spent my whole life in real estate, whether it's in our hotels or looking at the competition. And it's my curse to walk into every room and not be drawn to the flaws and have the little imperfections drive me crazy because they didn't need to happen. We were spoiled in many ways, but we were always taught to understand the value of the dollar. If there was something we wanted, we had to earn it. Even in college, we were very fiscally responsible. I had $300 a month. Anything I wanted beyond that, I had to work for. The left only worries about people who don't want to work. They could care less. They cater more to people who are here illegally, and they care more about the feelings of countries that would love to see us wiped off the face of the earth than they do hard, working Americans. It's ridiculous. I think we are just so far away from the political elite. Whether you are on one side or the other, you're still part of that group. The hard-working Americans, the people who made this country so great, they've been left in the dust. I think there was a time in my life, probably in college, that I wished every guy was gay because it meant more women for me. I don't know what everyone's problem with it is. I wish everyone was gay. That's always the way I thought about it. I have no issue with it. If I have to suffer through marriage, why shouldn't they? People talk. Oh, your father's a misogynist. Look what he said about women. Like on Howard Stern. When he gets with Howard Stern, who's a friend of his, he'll joke around. Because it's a comedy show, he's allowed to have a personality. I avoided the spotlight when I was a kid. I always knew, hey, it wasn't me. I didn't do anything. If there was a camera around, I hid from it. I may be one of the last New Yorkers who actually drives in the city daily. My father is a very hard-working guy, and that's his focus in life. So I got a lot of the paternal attention that a boy wants and needs from my grandfather. I was following my dad around from a young age. I don't know if it's genetic or just because I was surrounded by it, but I was always fascinated with building and construction and development. Between myself, my brother, my father, and my wife, we have 4 of the 1,500 concealed carry permits for New York City, which is one of the most difficult carry licenses to get anywhere in the world, and certainly in the United States. It is something we believe in fundamentally. So many people, they're just worried about. You can't say something bad about Obama. Not because you actually have a strong stance against his platform, but because that makes you a racist. If you can't handle some of the basic stuff that's become a problem in the workforce today, then you don't belong in the workforce. We'd be in his office playing with trucks as a 6-year-old while he's negotiating deals with presidents of major companies.